the red dust of Vormir. My name is Johann Shmidt. Before the mask, before the title, before the world knew me as a monster, I was a boy, a small, hungry boy in a world that had no room for me. Do you know what it is to be truly hungry? Not the ache you feel before a meal. I mean the kind of hunger that hollows you out, that makes the world go gray at the edges. The kind that turns your bones to ice. That was my world. Ice and gray and the constant gnawing emptiness. I grew up on the streets. Not the grand avenues you see in pictures, but the gutters, the forgotten alleys where hope goes to die. I saw the truth of humanity there. I saw men who would sell their brothers for a crust of bread. I saw women who would sell their souls for a warm place to sleep. I saw weakness. I saw decay. And I saw that the world was a sick animal eating itself alive. People talk of good and evil. They are children's stories. There is only order and chaos, strength and weakness. I learned that lesson with every slap, with every day I went without food. The strong eat. The weak are eaten. It is the only law that matters. The world preached other laws, laws of kindness, of mercy, lies, all of them. They were chains made by the weak to hold back the strong. I saw it. I knew it in my soul. I was a ghost in my own life. A shadow. Nobody saw me. Nobody cared if I lived or died. And in that invisibility, I watched. I learned. I saw the great men of my country, the politicians, the generals. They spoke of honor, of tradition. But they were weak. They were letting our people starve, letting our nation crumble into dust while they played their little games. They were the disease. And I knew. I knew with a certainty that burned in my empty stomach that a cure was needed. A strong hand, a surgeon's knife. Then he came, the Führer. You have heard the stories, you have seen the films, you think you know him. You know nothing. You did not see the fire in his eyes. You did not feel the power in his voice. He was not just a man, he was an idea. He looked at the chaos, the filth, the weakness that I had seen my entire life, and he was not afraid. He promised to burn it all away, to forge a new world from the ashes, a world of strength, of purpose, of order. For the first time in my life, I was not alone in my thoughts. Here was a man who saw the world as I did. He saw me, the hungry boy in the shadows, and he did not see a rat. He saw a weapon. He saw the fire that my hatred had kindled. He gave me a uniform. He gave me a purpose. He gave me a name that mattered. And he gave me Hydra. Hydra was older than his nation, older than any nation. It was an idea born in the dark, whispered through generations. The world is too chaotic for humanity to rule itself. It needs a guide, a shepherd. We were that shepherd. We would cut off the weak limbs to save the body. We would do the things the weak-willed leaders were too afraid to do. We were not saviors in shining armor. We were the surgeons, dressed in black, with blood on our hands. The work was ugly, but it was necessary. But even that was not enough. The Führer's vision was too small. Germany? A nation is just a line on a map, a temporary cage. I saw a bigger picture. The world itself was the patient, all of it. Humanity was the disease. Its own freedom was the poison. They cried for freedom, but they did not know what to do with it. They used it to hurt each other, to steal from each other, to wallow in their own filth. They needed to be saved from themselves. I searched for power. Not the power of guns and armies. That is temporary. That is the power of men. I searched for the power of the gods. I dug into the old texts, the forgotten legends. They all spoke of it. A power that shaped the world. The Tesseract, the jewel of Odin's treasury. I knew it was real. While my leader was focused on marching his armies across Europe, I was hunting for the key to eternity. And I found it. When I first held it, you cannot imagine the feeling. It was like holding a star in my hands. the energy, the hum of creation itself. It whispered promises to me. It showed me possibilities beyond mortal comprehension. It was the tool I needed. The surgeon's knife that could cut away the sickness of the entire world, all at once. To wield such power, I knew I had to become more than a man. The serum Dr. Erskine was developing, he saw it as a way to make good men better. The fool. There are no good men. There are only the strong and the weak. He wanted to give his power to a puppet, a Boy Scout from Brooklyn, a symbol. I knew what the serum was truly for. It was an instrument of evolution. It was meant to elevate the one man with the will to use it. I took it. The pain was unimaginable. It felt like every cell in my body was being torn apart and set on fire. It was a baptism of pure agony. But when it was over, I was reborn. The weakness was gone. The hunger was gone. The fear was gone. All that remained was clarity. A perfect, terrible clarity. And my face, it peeled away. The mask of Johann Shmidt, the weak boy from the gutter, was burned off. And what was left underneath? The truth. A symbol of my own making. Not a lie to give people hope, but a truth to make them obey. The Red Skull. I had become the vision. I was the future. This face, this thing you see as a deformity, it was a sacrifice. To see the world as a god, you must stop looking like a man. I welcomed it. It was a release. I was free. Then he came. Captain America. He was everything I hated. Everything I had fought to overcome. He was the lie, personified. Strong, handsome, brave, a fairy tale. He waved a flag and spouted nonsense about freedom and righteousness. He was a child playing soldier. Erskine chose him because he was weak, because he was small. He thought that would make him compassionate. It only made him naive. He could not see the truth. He could not see that his precious freedom was a cancer. Our fight was not just a battle of soldiers, it was a battle of ideas. His world, a messy, chaotic, beautiful lie. Or my world, a clean, orderly, perfect design. He fought for the individual, I fought for the whole. One life, a million lives. They are nothing next to the survival of the species, purified and perfected. He could never understand that. His heart was too small. He chased me. He hounded me. He was a dog, loyal to a master he didn't understand. And in our final confrontation, aboard my Valkyrie, as I held the Tesseract in my hand, I was on the verge of victory. I was about to unleash a fire that would cleanse the world. I held the power of a god. And I made a mistake. A human mistake. Hubris. I thought I could control it. I thought I was its master. But that kind of power, it has a will of its own. It is not a tool to be used. It is a force of nature. I held a star, and it burned me. The light, it consumed me. It tore me from my ship, from my world, from time itself. I was thrown across the universe, across galaxies I never knew existed. I was pulled apart and put back together over and over, and then I was here. Formia, the center of celestial existence. A place of judgment and of sacrifice. The Tesseract, the Space Stone as it is truly known, it did not kill me. It sentenced me. It judged me. A man who wanted to control one of the Infinity Stones was now a slave to another. The irony is not lost on me. For decades I have been a ghost again. But not the ghost of the gutters. A different kind. A specter. A guide. I, who wanted to rule the world, became a signpost on a forgotten road. I am the keeper of the Soul Stone. I know its secret. I know its price. And what a cruel price it is. A soul for a soul. To gain this great power, one must lose that which they love most. Love. I spent my entire life believing love was a weakness, a flaw in the human design, An emotion that made people soft, irrational, easy to break. It was a disease I was immune to. I sacrificed my own humanity for power. I felt nothing for anyone. And now, I am the eternal witness to love's terrible, beautiful power. I have seen it. I have watched beings come to this desolate rock, their hearts full of ambition just like mine. And I tell them the price. I watch their ambition turn to ash. I watch them face a choice I never had to make. I saw the Titan, Thanos. He came here, so much like me. He saw a sick universe and believed he was the only one with the will to be the cure. He believed in balance, a surgeon's knife for the cosmos. He brought his daughter, and he loved her. I could see it. It was the one part of him that was not made of iron. And to achieve his goal, he had to destroy it. He had to throw the one thing he loved from that cliff. And he did it. I watched him walk away with the stone, with a universe in his grasp, and I saw that he was more broken than any man I had ever seen. He had the power I craved, but he had paid a price I could never have imagined. I thought that was the end. But then, years later, more came. A man and a woman, assassins, best friends. They thought they could trick the stone. They fought each other, not to win, but to be the one to die, to save the other. Another kind of love. A love I dismissed as foolish loyalty. And the woman, she won. She threw herself into the abyss. I watch them all. I see their grief. I see their sacrifice. I, Johann Shmidt, who felt nothing, am now the guardian of the universe's most profound feeling. I am trapped in an eternity of watching others demonstrate a strength I never knew existed. The strength to lose everything for someone else. Is this my hell? To stand here forever, a red shadow on a purple world, forced to understand the one truth I spent my whole life denying. I do not regret my vision. The world is still sick. Humanity still needs a shepherd. My logic was pure. My will was absolute. I was right. I was right. But my methods, my understanding, it was incomplete. I saw the power of the gods, but I did not understand the power of the heart. I tried to build a world of perfect order by removing what I thought was the flaw. But perhaps it was not a flaw at all. Perhaps that weakness, that love, is the very thing that holds the universe together. I wanted to be a god, but gods, it seems, must also feel. They must also lose. I lost my face. I lost my life. But I never had anything to sacrifice on that cliff. My hands have always been empty. I had no one. I loved nothing. And so, the stone could never be mine. My name is Johann Shmidt, and I am a hungry boy again. But this time, I do not hunger for food or for power. I hunger for something else. Something I see in the eyes of everyone who comes to this place just before they make their choice. Something I will never have. I stand here under a sky of cold, distant stars, and I wait. I am a warning, a story told to those who reach too high. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you are willing to burn away to get it. Because some things, once they are gone, they leave a cold that even the heart of a star cannot warm. And you are left alone, in the quiet, in the dust, forever.